Hello, and welcome back. In this episode, in this lesson, we're going to talk about faith. Is faith and science really miles apart? What is faith? What are some words we can learn about faith? So I hope you learn a lot and enjoy this lesson. Let's start. 1 Corinthians chapter 16, verses 13 to 14. Watch, stand firm in the faith, be courageous, be strong. Let all that you do be done in love. So we have this word, stand firm, stand firm, stand firm. This is to not change your views or position. He stood firm on his decision to move to the country. He didn't change. So this can become watch. Don't change your position in the faith. Be courageous. Be strong. 2 Corinthians 5, verses 6 through 7. Therefore, we are always confident and know that while we are at home in the body, we are absent from the Lord. For we walk by faith, not by sight. Confident, 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 to be sure of who you are and what you do. Confident. She was confident she was right and stood firm on her opinion. Confident. Absent, absent, absent. This is not in the same place. So another verse that uses this is Colossians 2:5. For though I am absent in the flesh, yet I am with you in the spirit. So again, the idea of absent. Fred was absent from school as he had a dentist appointment. Absent. So now this could become, therefore, we are always sure of what we do and know that while we are at home in the body, we are not in the same place as the Lord. The idea of absent. 2 Timothy chapter 3, verses 14 to 15. But you remain in the things which you have learned and have been assured of, knowing from whom you have learned them. From infancy, you have known the Holy Scriptures, which are able to make you wise for salvation through faith, which is in Christ Jesus. Assured, assured, assured. This is confident that it will remain true and not change. I was assured that my arm was sprained and not broken, just hurt the muscle, didn't break the bone. I was assured, confident. So this now can become, but you remain in the things which you have learned and have been confident that it will not change, knowing from whom you have learned them. So the idea of assured. Colossians 2:5. For though I am absent in the flesh, yet I am with you in the spirit, rejoicing and seeing your order and the steadfastness of your faith in Christ. Rejoicing, rejoicing, rejoicing. This means great joy. I rejoiced when she said yes to my marriage proposal. Rejoicing. Love this word. Great joy. Steadfastness, steadfastness, steadfastness. Deciding not to quit or change your opinion and do your duty. So you're steadfast, unchanging. Mary was steadfast in her faith and did not change her opinion. Steadfast. So now we can have, for though I am absent in the flesh, yet I am with you in the spirit, having great joy and seeing your order and the unchangeableness of your faith in Christ. Rejoicing and steadfastness. So now we have Colossians 2:7. Rooted and built up in him and established in the faith, even as you were taught, abounding in it in thanksgiving. Built up, built up, built up, to be stronger, healthier, of a better reputation, or of more esteem. You're getting better than you were before. Lifting weights helped her to live a happier and stronger life. Lifting weights, you're getting built up. Established, established, established. You've been there for a long time and people recognize it. So this restaurant was established in 1858. So it's been there for a long time. Everybody knows this restaurant. Established, rooted and getting stronger in him, and been there for a long time in the faith, even as you were taught, abounding in it in thanksgiving. Ephesians chapter 2, verses 8-9. For by grace you have been saved through faith, and that not of yourselves. It is the gift of God, not of works, that no one would boast. Boast, boast, boast. Talk about what you have done or what you own with too much pride. Look at me and what I've done. She boasted about her new Porsche to everyone who would listen. Look at my new Porsche. That's boasting. Not of works, that no one would talk about with too much pride. Ephesians 3:17, that Christ may dwell in your hearts through faith, to the end that you, being rooted and grounded in love. Rooted, rooted, rooted means firmly established, firmly established. And we just learned that established means been there for a long time and people recognize it. So you're not just established, you're firmly established. Like in Colossians 2:7, rooted and built up in him and established in the faith. So now, grounded, 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 sensible and in touch with what is going on. I like this woman here. This is like a sand, we used to call it a sand castle, but I guess this is a sand design. And she looks very grounded. She looks very serious, like she knows what's going on. We have another sentence here. He was world famous, but was grounded in what his mother had taught him. So perhaps this was his mother. She taught him good things. So even though he was world famous, he still remembered the teaching. He was grounded. So Ephesians 3:17 becomes that Christ may dwell in your hearts through faith, to the end that you, being firmly established and in touch with what is going on in love. Ephesians 3:18 may be strengthened to comprehend with all the saints what is the width and length and height and depth. So we have this first word, comprehend, comprehend, comprehend. This means to understand with your mind. You get it. You understand. Then we have width, width, width. So it's measurement from one side to another. It's width. So one side to another, width. Length, length, length. This is measurement from one end to another, from one end. So measurement from end to end. Length, height, height, height. Measurement from the bottom to the top. Bottom to the top. Height. Depth, depth, depth. So this would be if this box were filled with water or even air, because we can measure that. So it's measurement from the surface of it to the bottom of it. Surface to the bottom. So the top of the water to the bottom of the water. That's depth, depth, depth. Ephesians 3:19. And to know Christ's love, which surpasses knowledge, that you may be filled with all the fullness of God. Surpasses, surpasses, surpasses. To be greater or to be better than or more than you were before. You're surpassing something, right? You've become greater. Like if I'm running, if I surpass my time, I do better than my last time. I've surpassed it. Einstein easily surpassed the intellects of his day, remembered to this day for being the smartest man in the world. Everybody generally agrees. Einstein, smartest man in the world. He surpassed the intellects of his day. So this becomes, and to know Christ's love, which is greater than knowledge, that you may be filled with all the fullness of God. So surpasses, greater than. Galatians 2:20. I have been crucified with Christ, and it is no longer I who live, but Christ lives in me. That life which I now live in the flesh, I live by faith in the Son of God, who loved me and gave himself up for me. Crucified, crucified, crucified. To nail someone to two pieces of wood as a death sentence. Crucified. So now we can have, I have been nailed to two pieces of wood as a death sentence with Christ. And it is no longer I who live, but Christ lives in me. So now we have Galatians 3:23. But before faith came, we were kept in custody under the law, confined for the faith, which should afterwards be revealed. custody, custody, custody. It's in protective care. It's there to protect us. So custody. Usually parents have custody over their children, right? So you could say the custody hearing determined who would be responsible for the child, who would care for it, who would protect it. So then we can say, but before faith came, we were kept in protective care under the law, confined for the faith, which should afterwards be revealed. So the law was protecting us. Custody. Galatians 3:24. So that the law has become our tutor to bring us to Christ, that we might be justified by faith. Justified by faith. Tutor, tutor, tutor. A private teacher who teaches one person or a small group. So I do tutoring sessions occasionally. I really enjoy that. So you get to know your students very well in tutoring situations. When I have questions about math, I ask my tutor, right? Gives you extra help beyond the classroom. Tutor. So that the law has become our private teacher to bring us to Christ, that we might be justified by faith. So the law, we learned, was protecting us. And now it's also our private teacher, tutor. Hebrews 11:6. Without faith, it is impossible to be well-pleasing to him. For he who comes to God must believe that he exists, and that he is a rewarder of those who seek him. Pleasing, pleasing, pleasing. This is giving pleasure, makes you happy, or satisfies you. You could say the flower had a pleasing aroma. Here we think I think that's rice fields. Not rice fields? That might give a pleasing aroma to walk through the rice fields. Pleasing, makes you happy. So now we can say, without faith, it is impossible to give satisfaction to him. For he who comes to God must believe that he exists, and that he is a rewarder of those who seek him. So gives satisfaction to him, makes him happy. Faith. Hebrews 11:19, concluding that God is able to raise up even from the dead. Figuratively speaking, he also did receive him back from the dead. Figuratively, figuratively, figuratively. Not a literal meaning, using words to paint a picture. So I love this picture. I love this lake. So I could say, this lake looks like heaven. Well, does it actually look like an actual real heaven? No, I'm speaking figuratively, right? Looks really good, like I hope heaven looks. Looks like heaven, isn't actually heaven. Hebrews 11:27. By faith, he left Egypt, not fearing the wrath of the king, for he endured as seeing him who is invisible. Wrath, 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 very angry. That's why I wrote it in such big letters. Wrath, very, very angry. Endured, 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 to go through pain and suffering with patience. Yeah, it hurts. Yeah, it's terrible. But you don't yell and scream and complain. You just bear with it. He endured the cancer treatments with good humor. So this is, I think, supposed to be Santa Claus, but he has good humor. Yeah, it's tough to go through cancer treatments, but he went through it with good humor, with patience. So by faith, he left Egypt, not fearing the great anger of the king, for he suffered with patience, as seeing him who is invisible. We also have this word invisible, invisible, invisible. That means that you can't see him, right? You can't see this. So many things are invisible to our eyes, like an atom, very small atom, or a cell. It's invisible to just the eye. Invisible. Hebrews 12:1. Therefore, let's also, seeing we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses, lay aside every weight and the sin which so easily entangles us, and let's run with perseverance the race that is set before us. Witness, witness, witness. Someone who actually sees an accident, a crime, or an event for themselves. A witness. So we were witnesses to the events of 9/11. So if you remember 9/11, September 11th, 2001. Now I like to tell the story that I was actually at the Twin Towers in August of 2001, about 2.5 weeks before this event. And I was standing at the bottom of the Twin Towers. I think I probably should go up and see these. These are a landmark. But it cost $40 to go up to the top. That's kind of expensive just to go to the top of the building. And wouldn't you know, 2.5 weeks later, we had this terrible terrorist attack, and now those buildings aren't there anymore. I should have gone up when I had the chance. And also, I like to think, what happens if I was in the building during this attack? I was there 2.5 weeks before this event. Almost was a witness. Entangles, entangles, entangles. Be caught in or twisted together. They were entangled in business affairs, right? So wrapped up in their business affairs, sometimes good and sometimes bad. They were entangled, twisted together. Perseverance, perseverance, perseverance. Keep going, even though it gets difficult to achieve your goals. Like I like this mountain in the background. Not terribly high, but high enough. We persevered in climbing this mountain, even though we were hungry and tired. You persevere, you keep going, even if it's difficult. Perseverance. Therefore, let's also, seeing we are surrounded by so great a cloud of those who actually saw the events, lay aside every weight and the sin which so easily catches us, and let's run with an attitude to keep going in the race that is set before us. So the idea of witness, the idea of entangles, the idea of perseverance. So there you have it. Many ideas about faith. So I hope we learn many ideas, many new words, many ways to express ourselves. And I hope we get a new understanding about faith. So I hope your journey in English is going well, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Enjoy these pictures, enjoy your day, enjoy the Bible as a tool to learn English. See you next time. Bye.